the first attack on the Pentagon in American history.
You could tell it was like a suicide bomber, but I'm not saying it was a bomb, but, you know, it was a plane. And it just came, it came streaking down and it hit short. It didn't go into the top of the Pentagon. It came like in short, and then everything sprayed up like a fireball sprayed up on the wall.
I'm joined here outside the Pentagon by Rick Renzi, who was an eyewitness to what happened here on September the 11th a month ago. Can you just tell us what you saw that day?
Sure. I was on the overpass overlooking the Pentagon when the jet careened in at a dive bombing angle with such severity that the explosion, the flames, and the smoke, it kept all of us down on the bridge, down underneath our cars.
Could you believe what was happening? Did you realize what was happening?
We knew it was a deliberate act. We knew it was an act of terrorism because we knew what was going on in New York. But there was such horror and shock that we were all pretty much hunkered down in our cars.
Now, what do you think this service today will do to help people through the healing process?
Right. I think it's a great reminder and a very solemn, honorable ceremony to allow us to thank those families that have sacrificed, those children who are now without fathers and mothers, and I think it'll recall the remembrance of what they've given our nation.
You personally came to terms with what you had to see that day on September the 11th?
I had a couple of sleepless nights, but for the most part, I'm just like every red-blooded American. We want bin Laden. We want to help the people of Afghanistan rise up and overcome the Taliban. We want to see democracy overtake these terrorist regimes around the world.
But it's more than just revenge, of course, isn't it?
Oh, it is. We're ready to export freedom again now. For a while there, it seemed the whole world was in line with the idea that democracy was the way to go, and then it seemed to calm down a little bit. And now the Americans, along with the Brits, are engaged in this fight, and it's all about freedom. And
briefly, how would you characterize the national mood right now?
Well, I don't want to use expletives, but the American people are ready to fight. We're looking to take on the terrorists all over the world. I wrote a letter to my children asking them to remember that this campaign is going to be for years to come, and it's going to be just like my father taking on communism. We're going to have to take on terrorism.
Rick Renzi, thank you very much for joining us here today. We wish you well.
Thank you, sir.
Onto the ice to play a fundraising exhibition.